The way Ohio is gerrymandered is ridiculous. The 11th Congressional District goes... I showed a picture of it last week. I'll put the picture up there again if you're watching the video or seeing the highlight of this. The 11th Congressional District goes from areas of Cleveland down a thin strip south to a little bit of Akron. And the 11th Congressional District had a special election because the woman who represented that district beforehand was tapped by Joe Biden to become a cabinet member. So they needed a special election. And there were about, 8 or 10 names on the ballot. But there were only 2 women who actually held water in the race, Shontel Brown and Nina Turner. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, you will know that I got the pleasure of going to a Nina Turner rally in Cleveland and taking some photographs. There was a rally with some local activists, a nurse from a nurses union, Nina, Senator Bernie Sanders, Dr. Cornel West, the Attorney General Keith Ellison, who, if you don't know who that is, he's the guy who led the case and ultimately put Derek Chauvin behind bars. Representative Cori Bush was supposed to be there, but as we know, she was busy at the Capitol building camping out for the eviction crisis. Now, Nina Turner, in my view, was the better choice out of the 2, Nina or Shontel Brown. She was a progressive candidate and a voice for the middle class, the lower working class, Medicare for All, the Green New Deal, all that sort of stuff. She ultimately lost to Shontel Brown in the special election this week. And if you watched the segment or the whole show or listened last week, you will know that a lot of money, a lot of corporate money and PAC money went into this race. And not for Nina Turner, as you can imagine. They went into the race for Shontel Brown. Now, I'm not mad at the fact that Nina lost and the House will be without another squad member that would actually act like a squad member. I'm disappointed in the fact that this is just more proof that money, corporate power, and super PACs, the rich, they control public discourse, they control elections, and they can easily purchase congressional races. If you looked at the district and the amount of money that went into it, millions. I think the last graph I saw said something like close to $2 million went into this congressional race. Went into one congressional race in like one of the poorest cities in the country and one of the poorest districts in the country. One congressional race they spent that much money on. Because they were afraid of Nina Turner. They really were. The establishment was terrified of, and I'm quoting the city, or I think it was the mayor of Cleveland at the rally. I'm quoting him in this right now. They were afraid of the angry black woman coming to Congress. They were afraid. Okay, Nina Turner has been a voice since the 90s, right? Anyway, so the amount of money that was in that race and the amount of physical propaganda in the form of billboards, mailers, plus the millions of dollars in digital advertising, slandering Nina Turner, became clear that the establishment was threatened and will do whatever it takes to keep the poor and working class out of power. And Shontel Brown, maybe she's a nice lady. I don't know. I've never heard her talk before. But the fact that she's willing to take all this money from Republican donors and people who supported Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton's super PAC, Jim Clyburn, Hakeem Jeffries, all this sort of stuff, corporate shills for Big Pharma and the oil industry in Congress, makes me not want to vote for her, makes me not want to trust her. And now the establishment just has another robot and another yes person to go with the status quo and just do the bidding of, the upper managerial class in a district like the 11th Congressional District. It's just sad. It's really just sad that They were threatened so much by somebody who was anti-establishment and actually cared about, issues that, broadly speaking, the people of America care about. They didn't want her in, so she's not in. Simple as that. And the worst thing about it is the establishment's victory lap. Not the fact that they're taking a victory lap. Fair enough. You're shill of a candidate who is okay with making the status quo keep going. That person won, or you paid for her victory, however you want to say it. Take a victory lap. Whatever. But it's very clear in the way they're taking this victory lap that they've completely lost grip on the working class, whether they know it or not. Or maybe they just don't care. Let me tell you what, they don't care. So there are two quotes from Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, who was involved in pumping a lot of money into this race. He says, quote, to The Hill, "Let me put it this way. The majority of the Democratic voters realized that Trumpism and the radical right is the real enemy, not us. Apparently, the extreme left hasn't figured that out yet." Now, I don't want to downplay the Trump wing of the GOP. They're an issue, but they're losing ground, and they're losing ground fast. There was another race for some district in Ohio, I want to say. I think it was Ohio, between two candidates, both Republicans. One was supported by Donald Trump and had his endorsement. The other didn't. Well, the guy who was supported by Donald Trump lost. And the reason he lost was the other guy, I don't remember either of their names, forgive me. But the other guy was running ads nonstop about how this guy is a Trumper, he's supported by Trump, he's a Trump guy, Trump. And it ultimately lost him the election, being, endorsed by the former president. So that says something about how they're losing, that wing of the party is losing power. Plus, you got the Matt Gaetz scandals with the sex trafficking and everything like that. And he was a big Trump supporter. You got the complete and utter psychopath that Marjorie Taylor Greene is, and she was a big Trump supporter. And every time she's in the news, I want to punch a hole in my fucking computer screen because everything she says is stupid. So they're losing grips, okay? But the corporate moderate Dems, they are the enemy. Unlike what Hakeem Jeffries says, they are the enemy of the working class and the working man. They are, okay? When they could have fought for a $15 minimum wage to be in the recovery bill, they didn't, okay? When they could have even had a vote, a floor vote for Medicare for All, Nancy Pelosi blocked it. And not a vote for Medicare for All to pass the House and go to the Senate. No, a vote to debate whether or not they should pass it. It won't even go to step one because congressional leadership in the Democratic Party doesn't want Medicare for All. They don't. Simple as that. People who dumped a bunch of money into this race, like Jim Clyburn, take millions of dollars from Big Pharma every year. They don't want a single-payer healthcare system. They don't.